Hi, Laren.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
The weird thing about this whole situation is that usually when something big happens, there's a call to action for people. Big world wars or like if there are food shortages, something. So the weird thing about this is that the call for action is inaction, that people shouldn't be doing anything. So what do you have any suggestions for what people can do who feel like sitting at home isn't doing enough to help?
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge, isn't it? I'm grappling with that myself. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we put up signs in the lawn for healthcare workers.
This is a rare moment where many Americans will have the time to devote to things that otherwise had just gone begging. We have jobs, we have families, we have stuff to do. But now many of us are involuntarily idle. And there are ways to participate in your community or communities now that you have some time on your hands that you might not have had as recently as 3 weeks ago.
I'm thinking about projects that we can do in our household and that other people could do from the safety of their homes. I've spoken to a lot of doctors who say there actually is a bona fide need at this moment for homemade, it sounds almost ludicrous, masks for doctors and nurses to wear. If we make natural fiber cotton masks that can be worn over the N95 masks, then those homemade masks, can be removed and washed, and the N95 masks can be worn for longer than they would normally be worn for. Of course, reaching out to anyone in our personal social networks and making sure that people are okay. People are struggling with a lot of mental health issues right now. Let's take care of everybody in our immediate network as best we can. Melanie, what are your symptoms? Are you having a cough and fever and all that?
Yeah, I have real bad cough. It's generally okay unless I talk a lot. So being in isolation helps with that. I have had a low-grade fever, but mostly body chills, and it kind of feels like something is in my chest, like a rib spreader, just kind of heavy weight there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh.
Well,
take care of yourself. Drink lots of fluids, and
thank you.
And go to the doctors.
There's someone photobombing us here over your right shoulder.
Yeah, he's my little brother. Hi.
Hi.
I had a question actually. So I live in India, and like half an hour ago, the Prime Minister announced that we will be going into the countrywide lockdown for 21 days. And in this time, like I feel a lot of people who are not that privileged enough to stock food for how can we as society help them to sustain, and how we as society, because we aren't allowed to go out.
Well, it's a problem in the United States, which the Congress is in the process of trying to deal with by essentially printing $1 trillion for distribution to individuals and businesses, and to forgive certain debts, and to cover to give moratoriums on rent payments and mortgage payments.
I don't know if you're in a position, if your family is in a position to help, one other family that you're in contact with who doesn't have resources, that might be one thing that you can do. And maybe if enough people in India are helping their neighbors, it can also make a small dent. And hopefully it's only 3 weeks or 6 weeks of real dire hardship that we have to get through.
Let's see what happens, honestly. And it was great talking to you. Thank you.
Great talking
Can
to
we
you.
have a question for your brother? How are you liking this? Do you like not having to go to school?
Actually, no, because I miss my school, because it's fun going to school, because studies are different, but you meet your friends, you be happy, you be yourself. So it's actually good.
Well,
so it's very boring because you don't have to do anything. You can't even get out of your house. So it's kind of boring.
Well, if you're stuck with your
and
sister.
It looks like you have a mean sister too.
Yeah, that's horrible.
No, exactly. Yeah, she's kind of cruel sometimes, but she's good.
Nice talking to you guys.
Thank you very much.
And Jamie, where are you?
I'm in the UK.
How is everyone taking Boris's announcement?
That's sort of what I wanted to talk about, was the difference between the situation in America and the situation in the UK. My family, we're very lucky. We're very lucky here to say that like we're financially well off. We've got a garden, so we can go out whenever we want. And I suffer from depression, but my family have been like fantastically supportive, getting me out of the house, being like, nope, you're coming downstairs and we're playing a game. You are not sitting in your room all day long.
Uh-huh.
That's been brilliant for me. The thing is, like, what's the difference in the situation between the UK and America? Because I know that, like, you don't have the NHS, you don't have the same healthcare system and benefit support system. Like, have they banned evictions like they have in the UK?
I believe it's state by state, but it's becoming the default way of dealing with renters and putting a moratorium on evictions. I think through most, if not all, of the country, but it's a work in progress, and then a lot of it has to do with legislation. You know, the biggest difference between the UK and the United States is scale, right? And the other big difference is you have national health, and we most certainly do not. We have a private system, and it leaves a lot of people out. Whether you're insured or not, within days, it will be hard to get a hospital bed. We only have 900,000 hospital beds in the whole country.
Also, we're not getting mandates that are very specific on the federal level like you did in the UK. We're getting this, more fractured state by state, uncoordinated patchwork, which is making it, of course, much harder to contain things within our country.
It just is completely alien to me that you can fall down on the street and then not be able to have an operation because you can't afford it.
On the plus side, we've got like 9 different brands of toaster strudel. So, it's a balance. What's your name?
I'm Kelly.
Hey.
I'm Isha.
Welcome to Quarantine Coffeehouse.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, no, my question was similar because I was wondering how you guys were experiencing life in America right now, because we're not actually on lockdown because I live in the Netherlands. So we're on sort of a half lockdown, so we can go out and we can have walks and we can take our bikes. And we can go grocery shopping, but only one person at a time. And then you have to have I believe it's like 6 feet, like space around you. So you have to give everyone space. And starting from today, we're going to get fined if we don't oblige to the rules. So
that's more stringent. That's more stringent than most of the U.S.
Even I was in the beginning. I was like, it's just a flu. Who's worried about that? And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, they're sort of on lockdown. So we can go out, and it's actually, I don't know. Last week was pretty rough because then all of a sudden the world changes. So that was a moment of anxiety for me. But now it's just stay home as much as you can and help other people, that maybe are too old to go grocery shopping, and help them out.
We're quite dear friends, but we managed to stay 3,100 miles apart.
And it feels like the right distance.
Exactly.
It feels like a.
Well, I want to thank you, Kelly. I want to thank you, Misha. I want to thank Ida Rose Garfield and Boris Brodsky. I want to thank Steve Gottlieb and Shindig for the opportunity to bring you Quarantine Cafe. It's been a fascinating morning, and I hope we answered some of your questions, and I hope maybe we offered a little bit of comfort. And who knows? Maybe we'll be back. So thanks again for logging in, and until next time, and may there be a next time. I'm Bob Garfield from On the Media. Thanks for being here.